And I'm Julia.
And together, for the second time, we are functionally literate. We read.
Yeah, we read books.
Indeed.
And they're good.
We read good books.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And you're going to read along with us.
Yes.
Today, we are reading the 5th season, book 1 of the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. It's a Hugo Award winner. We are today reading chapters 3, 4, and 5. So what's happened so far, Julia?
Oh, God. We had a prologue that I just don't even want to get into.
The world ended.
The world's ended, and people are eating rocks.
One kid, one boy, one strange boy that I'm pretty sure isn't human, he ate rocks.
Yep. And then we have a son that is dead.
Indeed.
And we have a husband that killed him.
Indeed. We gotta kill that guy.
And we're out of here to hunt him down.
And we say we because if you missed the last episode and for some reason you're listening to this without reading the book, there's a character, Asun, who we're Asun.
Mm-hmm.
You are her, she is you, we are Asun. So it's a second person narrative. It's very interesting. I've never encountered that before in a proper book.
Right.
So, it's fun. It's interesting.
I'm loving it.
You said in the last episode that it really just drops you in because of that.
I'm immediately invested in myself. It's not hard to do that for me. So
yeah, chapter 3, we are Asun again.
Yes.
You're on your way. Which we make our way to Headman Rusk, who gives us information on our family, then tries to get us out of town, fails, and dies by our hands, along with everyone else. So yeah, chapter 3. We're on our way. This is the chapter where we, quite literally, get on our way.
Yeah.
So initial thoughts on this chapter.
How did you feel about Rusk? I liked Rusk.
I liked Rusk.
So you say it in the summary, so I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
Us killing him, I don't feel great about it. It's really sad. It's tragic.
It is.
That's someone who helps us.
But we lost control.
Yeah.
We succumbed to our rage, and we killed a lot of people. That's how the chapter ends.
Yes.
So we should start with how the chapter begins.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I summarized it. It's fine to jump around in the chapter.
Yeah. Okay.
Had a little bit of a burp. So we're still trying to decide who we are now, which I thought was interesting because even though we are Asun, we don't know everything about ourselves, right?
Right.
We can glean that we have been other people. We have lived other lives before we came here. We have done other things with our life.
Unlike our husband.
Unlike our husband who has lived here in Torimo his whole life.
Right.
So I think it's interesting that now that everything has changed, we are trying to figure out who we are going to be now. Because there's a moment in here, I'm pretty sure it's in this chapter, where we remember our daughter, and we remember we can't be someone else yet.
And say her name.
It is...
Nasun?
Nasun.
I said it right.
Nasun, yeah.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah. And that's always an issue with fantasy names.
I know.
It's like, what the fuck is that? Like, there's this book called The Way of Kings.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many fucking wild names in that book. There's Yasna, Dalinar, Kaladin. Those are the big ones.
Yeah, I could never say that. I would never say it the same way twice. You know what I mean?
Right. So yeah, we leave the doctor's home. we go back to our home.
Yes.
We get our what's it called? It's called a runny sack. So that's like a go bag, basically. They're common here, you know, because everyone in this world are doomsday preppers.
But you got to be ready to flee at a moment's notice. And people are fleeing. We learned that.
Some are fleeing, many are rushing into the town.
Yes.
While they still can. Because at some point, the gates are going to be shut.
They're preparing for, what is it? Something season. What's it called?
The 5th season.
Well, seasonal law.
Oh, yeah.
The town is going into seasonal law.
Yeah. Because Rusk, the headman, who, he's got a good head on his shoulders.
Another good character that we can love.
And kill.
Yeah, and kill. Nobody's getting out of this book alive, I have a feeling.
I mean, no. Like, there's a moment where we're just looking at... No, wait, that's later. In this chapter, we update our running sack. It hasn't been updated since Uche was born almost 3 years ago, so there's clothes in there for Nasun. That's too big, too little now for her, because she's too big. There's dried fruit that's gone moldy, who we think that we could maybe still eat it safely, but we're not desperate yet.
Right.
Yet.
Yeah.
I even said that in parentheses. Yet.
And it's like there's a lot of chaos going on in the village right now.
Yeah.
And so we're using that to our advantage to like get our shit and get the hell out.
Yeah, we are moving around town under the guise of delivering things for Jija. And so nobody's really questioning it, and our face is familiar enough around town that nobody's, like, viewing us as a stranger.
Right.
Right? So we try to get out of town, and we can't. The gates are shut.
Because of the seasonal law.
Because of the seasonal law, because Rusk has, due to caution, enacted seasonal law more fully than maybe he should have.
Right.
Which is not a bad thing, because Rusk has the right of it. Like, shit's gonna get fucked. It is fucked.
He's a good guy. Like,
yeah.
Just looking out.
So, we go to the library, where Rusk is hiding out to get some shut-eye.
And like, yeah, he's sleeping.
And we know this because Lerna talks too much, and has shared this information with us. So we go find Rusk. And Rusk, we wake him up, and he is like, oh shit. Like, a lot of thoughts go through his mind all at once, and we can see the thoughts on his face.
Yes.
Right? Like, we can see the gears turning, like, oh shit, that's Jija's wife. Oh shit, that is Uche's mother. Oh shit, that's Raga's mother.
And we get some tea from him. We get the hot goss.
And what does he say?
Well, so this is where I talked about Jija, like, being seen with, like, the cart and, like, leaving.
That, right.
This is when that happens. So,
Lerna mentioned people seeing them leave.
But we know more fully.
We know for a fact
that they're packing up the horse cart.
Yeah.
And they're leaving.
And we're very relieved of that because we had no idea if Nasun was even alive.
Right. So that, and like, Nasun is in the front of our minds too, I think. Like, she really focuses it, or we really focus
which makes sense.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it's
our last child.
It's our daughter.
It's our daughter.
And our homicidal husband.
Fucking shithead husband.
Yeah, just like.
We gotta fuck that guy up.
Yep, absolutely.
We gotta kill him.
He's gotta go.
He's gotta go. So yeah, Rusk is in this library, which I thought was funny how they talk about the library.
What do you mean?
So they give us a little bit of a history of the library, right? Like, the last headman's wife was like, this is unacceptable, we need a library. Or it was something like that.
Right, yes.
It was like someone in charge had a spouse that was like, we need a library. And so they made one, and it's like maybe 180 books or something like that. It's like, it is a pathetic library. But it's a library, and, you know, it's open for everyone in town to use, but nobody really uses it. And they vote on whether or not to get rid of the thing a lot, but they never get quite enough votes to shut it down.
Think of, like, if you don't return your book on time with that library, people would be outraged. Do they have late fees, you think?
Maybe. I mean, they talk about how money exists.
Yeah.
Money's a thing. And I thought that was interesting too, right? Because we've got this rubber wallet with like a big wad of cash in it.
Mm-hmm.
And we think about how this money's going to be useless pretty soon. But until then, it's going to be really useful. And then when it is useless, we can burn it.
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so, so we see Raga. Raga processes a lot of stuff. Not Raga. We see Rusk. Rusk processes a lot of stuff really quickly when he realizes who we are and like, oh, fuck. And then, we're immediately like, I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not here to hurt anyone. And then, Rusk gives us some tea, like you said. Lets us know our daughter's alive with our husband.
And he's going to help us
and
get through that gate.
Yeah. And he's like, you can't come back. And we're like, I don't really
Clearly.
want to. Yeah, that's fine. I don't want to come back. And he's like, I get it. I had a sister. And we think, we didn't know he had a sister. Oh. Oh, right. We wouldn't know, would we? Mm-mm. And then he's like, this is why I didn't want to have children, because I lost my sister like this. Yeah, it's very sad.
It is sad, but we have another character who has sympathy.
We do, yeah.
And that's exciting in this world.
Yeah.
We're not going to take that for granted.
Yeah.
Well, for now.
And so... So we go with Rask to the gates. We walk with him. Lots of people want to talk to Rask, and they do until they realize who we are.
Yeah.
And then they kind of back off.
Wearing a scarlet letter walking
basically
through town with us.
Yeah. And you say that you're dumb. You read the scarlet letter.
That is a bold assumption. I didn't read the scarlet letter. I can reference it.
You can reference the scarlet letter.
I've seen Easy A with Emma Stone.
All right. Well, it's fitting, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I get the premise of the Scarlet Letter. I think and we are that right now.
We have that. We are Raga. Mm-hmm. And so, so we get to the gate and Rask is like, hey, open the gate. And then, like, the guy at the post is like, are you sure you want to do that? And Rask is like, yeah, I'm fucking sure I want to do that. What's your problem? Open the gate. Mm-hmm. And then there's this woman, Kara, which I thought was...
Oh, I didn't mean to do that because...
No. See, it's fine. So my wife's name is Kara.
Yeah.
We are talking... Her name is Cara. We're talking about a very different Kara. Mm-hmm. Her name is Karra. Yeah. And she's a bitch.
She sucks. Yeah.
She fucking, like, when we're not looking, when we're trying to leave, she shoots a crossbow arrow at us or something.
Yes, an arrow, but we are the baddies that we are.
We are Orogene.
Yeah. We disintegrate it into the air, right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
So this is something I wanted to get into. Like, I really liked the way the combat was formatted here. Because, like, it's indented differently, right? Like, and then, all of this and then all of this, and then it's like an indented line break. Like tabbed over. And because, this and this, and because, like, this is how you have grown up in your life, having to respond in a very particular way, you line break, you reach for the air around you and pull and line break, brace and you anchor and narrow, and then the arrow breaks. And it's like, man, that's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
And then there's a voice in our head, a male voice. This is our conscience, which we haven't heard in a long time. It's like, how dare you use your power? Basically, like, naughty. And then, Kara realizes that it didn't fucking work. And she's like, shit. And then, Rask is like, what are you doing? And there's this thing.
Can't.
There was this interesting thing here where it's like, we're trying to convince ourselves, if only Rask had seen, if only Rask had been paying attention to this moment, if only Rask was watching, he could have stopped this. And that is something that I think is interesting, because it's like, there's a little bit of doubt here, right? It's like, we want to trust Rask. We want to believe Rask. But, like, can we? Should we? Would he have stopped her if he was paying attention? We don't know.
No. And something, too, that I thought was interesting was that you killed him.
Yeah.
Or you say to Rask. And it's not a rational thing. You mean you plural.
Yeah.
Even though you're speaking to you specific.
Yeah.
She is getting a little confusing.
She is... We are so fucking mad.
Yeah.
At not just Jija, but the whole town.
Society in general.
Because Jija came from here.
Yes.
Where did all this hatred come from?
It's their fault.
Yeah, it's the whole town's fault.
Yep.
And so, in this moment of just sheer fucking rage, what do? We freeze everyone that comes near us.
Yes.
And then we break the water table.
And we kill Rask.
We kill Rask.
We kill everyone.
We kill everyone because
sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say except the one thing that pulls us out of it, just a child.
There is a kid, yeah, but we kill that kid too.
Yeah,
because we broke the well. In a few weeks, all of that water is gonna drain, and they'll have no water left. This town is dead.
Yeah.
We killed this town. And then we leave.
If you put it in perspective of she just lost her child, it's rational. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just trying. Sorry.
We lost our kid, and so, hey, you know what? People have killed for less. You remember John Wick? No?
I'm making a face.
He killed so many fucking people because... he was part of an assassin's guild or whatever, and then one of the assassins went after him, killed his dog. And then, the leader of the assassin's guild is like, you have no idea what you've just done. This man has nothing left, and you just killed his dog! Literally. And then, he comes after them. Kills, 200 people.
Rightfully. No. I'm a dog lover, okay? I love dogs. You mess with my dog, it's all over.
Anyways, so that's how that chapter ends. There's also, though, there's another little blurb, not a blurb, I keep calling them blurbs, at the end of this chapter. It's, let me find it. Where is it?
Oh, I've got it.
You've got it? Go ahead, read it.
Never forget what you are. Tablet 1 on Survival, verse 10.
Never forget what you are.
Did we forget?
We did. We pretended like we were normal, and then we forgot.
I'm so interested in our history. Did we train?
So that's what
The male voice in the head was something that's interesting to me, too.
I have a hypothesis.
Okay, let's hear it.
Because I was reading these chapters over and over.
Right.
I only read up to chapter 8, mind you, because we're going to record another episode later. But I have a feeling that the 3 characters we're following are the same person. I have a feeling...
What?
I don't know, but I have this feeling that Demaya becomes Syenite, becomes Uche.
My mind is blown. That... Because
there's no reference to the end of the world in Demaya's chapters. And even the way Demaya's chapter starts, it says, in winter's past. Right? And then with Syenite, again, there's really no reference to the end of the world.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What? Okay, no, I can't say it because it's later on. It's later on. But I'm going to put it in the back of my head.
Put a pin in that?
I'm going to put a pin in it.
Do you want to jot a note down so you don't forget?
Honestly, yeah, I'm going to write it in my phone.
Okay, cool. I'm going to... Hang on. This episode is not brought to you by Kroger. I'm going to open a can now. Today, I am drinking Kroger seltzer water. 0 calories, caffeine-free, naturally flavored with lemon. The ingredients are carbonated water and natural flavors, which, if you know anything, is very unnatural.
Is it good?
No.
Oh no.
No, it's not good at all.
That's why you get paid the big bucks on advertising this stuff. Because you know how to sell something. You know what I mean? I'm going to open mine too then. This was for me, right?
Yeah, that's for you. I'm not drinking both of these.
You're like, hell no. I love seltzer water.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. What do you think, Julia?
Tastes like a White Claw. Without alcohol.
Aha.
We like that.
So we don't have sponsors, so this was our ad. If you like us, you like what we're doing, you can email us at funk.lit.pod@gmail.com. That's FUNC.LIT.POD@gmail.com. You can contact us there. We're also going to set up a Patreon at some point soon, and I will include a link to that in the description.
Sponsor this man. Give him your money because he's going to sell things for you really well.
I will be a shill. For money. For money.
I can be bought. No.
But I have morals, so tread lightly.
Yeah, so stay out of it, Kroger.
Yeah, freaking Kroger. Your shitty natural flavors. Get out of here.
It's actually kind of good.
All right, Julia has jotted down her thought that she's going to save for next episode.
Yeah.
And right now, we are going to go to Chapter 4. Syenite, cut and polished, where 4th ringer Syenite is assigned a 10-ring Dementor to breed with, under the guise of destroying a faraway coral reef. I like Syenite.
Our queen.
Queen, yeah.
100%.
You were going to say I love Syenite.
Yeah.
I love Syenite too. She's great.
Well, I texted you. Like,
You
once
did.
I started, like, getting into it, I was like, I love Syenite. I mean, I think that she's just really badass.
Yeah.
I think she's a take no shit kind of gal.
Yeah.
I think she is in a annoyingly shitty situation.
Very.
But does not I didn't get that it phases her. I mean, like, it does, but she is so this is business as usual kind of way. So she has to breed with a 10th ring, right? Is that how it...
A 10-ringer.
10-ringer.
Yeah. So let's get into what we understand about the Fulcrum based on this chapter. So, as I understand it, this is where the Origins go. This is where the Origins are trained up. This is where they learn how to control their abilities. And that is shown through the 10 rings, right? When you reach, a base level of competency, you get your first ring.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, you're considered a grit. I don't know if that comes up here, but it's mentioned in the appendix that when you're untrained and you're just starting out, you're considered a grit. And then when you get your first ring, that's when you start getting some privileges. Right. And you get more and more privileges the more rings you get. Mm-hmm. So it comes up in this chapter that when you get 5 rings, you are allowed to go on assignments by yourself without another higher ringed Origin or without a guardian with you.
Yeah.
Which Syenite thinks this is bullshit. Right? She's like, why?
And she's being lectured.
She is being lectured, but in the sweetest, most polite bullshit way.
But the poison drink too. They're drinking
the safe.
The safe.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives you an idea of this kind of little school that they're at.
Yeah.
It's not Hogwarts.
No.
I hate to reference it, but even in terms of, like, that not being a safe place, this place is really not safe either. Like, they have to drink a chalky, nasty drink to show that called safe that you were not being I'm not poisoning you. Like, you can't put poison in that.
You can't put anything in it that would contaminate it, or it'll change colors.
Right.
Which I think is awesome, really. Like, I think that's clever. It sucks that it doesn't taste good.
Yeah,
though.
it's apparently gross.
Yeah.
And she's being lectured by her senior, or...
Yeah. What's her name? It's,
Oh...
Feldspar.
Yep.
I don't like Feldspar. I mean, I kind of do. I sympathize with Feldspar, but I don't like her.
Yeah. Definitely not my favorite.
So the chapter starts with Feldspar basically, like, telling Syenite, okay, here's your assignment. You're gonna go to, what was it, the West Shore?
To, Alia? Aid Alia? She's going on a month-long mission.
Yeah, she's gonna go, she's been assigned a mentor, and she's gonna go to a coastline to...
Something with coral.
I get the impression she's destroying a coral reef.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not clear on why she's destroying a coral reef, but it's a unique thing that only an origin can do, because coral reefs are still technically of the earth.
Right. This, and it goes back to your theory of this taking place on Earth. It tracks.
What makes you say that? Because they mentioned coral reefs?
And it's being destroyed. Very Earth-like thing to happen.
Right. The thing in this chapter that makes me think, like, maybe this is Earth, is because she straight up whips out a bottle of lube.
I know. That's so true. And it would, I mean, it makes sense because of that, obviously. But, I mean, there's, like, I have read fantasy books where there are, like, they have, like, cell phones in it. And, like,
Really?
there are some, like, I've read, like, one specifically, and I'm not going to even mention.
It's not, like, urban fantasy.
Okay, it's, like, kind of urban fantasy, I guess.
Well, I mean, like, if it's our world, then it makes sense.
No, but it's not our world.
It's not our world.
It's not our world.
Okay.
No. And it's, like, I mean, there's, like, they take drugs in it, and the whole 9 yard, and there's, like, definitely this, like, earthly elements that are in it, but I don't know. And I'm, like, ashamed to say what the book is. It's Crescent City. It's
Crescent City.
It's Sarah J. Maas. When I said fluffy fantasy,
you meant real fluffy.
I meant really fluffy.
I don't know that book, but, I'm hoping that some audience members do.
I have a feeling that there is probably very little overlap of people who listen to this podcast and read Sarah J. Maas, but I would love to be proved wrong.
Well, it's my hope that there will be more overlap now that you're on.
Yeah. I'm like, bring in the fluff. Where's the smut in this book?
So,
no.
yeah.
Well, actually, yikes.
I mean, there is, but it's not sexual
no,
at all.
It's not. And it's like, and you feel icky about it.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. There is a sex scene in this chapter.
Yes.
But it is not sexy at all.
No.
I've never encountered that.
Neither one of these people want to be having sex.
Right.
Like.
So, well, we're jumping ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
So the chapter, it starts with Feldspar and Syenite having this meeting that the Ten Ringer was supposed to be at, but he didn't go.
Which is, like, kind of a move. Like,
Yeah.
Screw this.
Well, because he had been on assignment for, like, a couple years or something and just got back. And so, like, he's not fucking doing shit.
Yeah, dude's exhausted.
Dude is exhausted. I don't blame him for not going.
Right.
But so they're having this conversation about her assignment to go deal with this coral reef thing, and she's got a Ten Ringer as a mentor. But what isn't said is that that's not really what the assignment is.
No.
The assignment is for her to get laid.
Yeah. She's supposed to breed.
Yeah.
Quotation marks with him.
Yeah.
And to create offspring.
Yeah.
Which I immediately was like, what's going on here? I thought that they don't, like, why do they want more, like, of them? Because I thought they're so feared. They're so, like, They're feared until...
They fear them.
But they want to use them.
And they want to use them.
And so it's definitely interesting because you're like, okay, this is going to create someone very strong, potentially.
Syenite is a promising Origin. She's 20 and she already has 4 rings.
Yeah.
And this other guy is, we discover, around 40 and has 10 rings, which Syenite is very surprised of because she's met 6 and 7 ringers that are, like, elderly.
Right. So this dude got his rings very young and is very powerful.
He got his 10th ring. It's implied he got his 10th ring recently. He hasn't been a 10 ringer for very long.
What'd you do?
Yeah. But yeah, no, so, you know, she wraps up this conversation with Feldspar. Feldspar tells her he has the right to refuse.
Right.
And she's like, why is she telling me this? And, you know, the confusion's clear on her face. And Feldspar's like, I have 6 children. And she's like, ah, okay.
Right.
You're telling me that I don't have to do this. But Syenite doesn't believe that. She feels she has to do this.
Right.
Because she doesn't want to be labeled difficult.
Yes. And get a shitty assignment or whatever is my assumption.
Well, because in that same paragraph where she doesn't want to be labeled difficult, she says that if she does get labeled difficult, she would be stuck here. She would be stuck at the fulcrum where she would have to turn men's grunts and farts into children.
Oh, God. Yeah. Can't blame her. Get the hell out of there. Go, girl, go.
So yeah, so she makes her way to this guy's apartment, I guess.
Yeah, and he is cagey. He's shy.
Well, at first he's fucking rude.
Yeah.
He's like,
he doesn't want her there.
What do you want? I told Feldspar to leave me alone. I told all of them. I just got back. I have not had a moment to myself without a horse or a stranger for years. I'm resting. Leave me alone. Do you have anything what do you want? And she's like, I'm Syenite. That means nothing to him. Because he didn't read her dossier. Right. He was given her dossier about her to read that he didn't read, and he didn't go to the meeting. So really, he's a putz right now. He's just a jerk. But I love how she, like, gets him to shut up. What'd she do?
Doesn't she say we have to have sex or what?
She's like, I'm here to fuck you.
Yes, that's it. Okay, oh my God. He's like,
what?
Excuse me?
What?
Oh my God.
But then, what he says is really interesting to me. Because no one that he'd had a child with up to this point had ever explicitly, just straight up said what was up. Yeah. You know, he was like, I mean, you know, before he kind of liked them. I suspected, but I thought they wanted to. Yeah, yeah. And she's like, how naive can you be? And I'm just thinking, no, that makes sense. Because I'm a man. I know how men think. No man wants to believe that a woman was sent to them.
Like, this was her job. And she's like...
No man wants to believe that.
Right. So I think it's in this chapter, so I'm going to say it. Like, he develops feelings for some of these girls.
Yeah. No, he did. He the first couple, he thought it was a genuine connection.
Idiot. Sorry.
Fool.
I mean, but honestly, like, with all the other stuff that's going on...
I gotta quit drinking that seltzer.
It's great. It's good.
You can have it. I don't want it.
With all the other stuff that is going on at that school, it is naive and delusional to think that all these girls are just like, hey, what's going on? Like, that's like, I mean, and maybe her being so upfront gets some respect expect from him?
I mean...
Because I kind of started, like, not initially, but I kind of feel like...
You mean like in that next chapter with Syenite it did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that they kind of started to... It's like giving frenemies in a way.
Sure. I thought it was interesting because she's like, come on, let's go ahead and do this. And he's like, I don't like you. She's like, I don't care.
I got a job to do.
Like, and he's like, I can refuse. I'm a 10 ringer. I can refuse. So we don't have to. And she's like, don't refuse.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, why? She's like, if it's not you, it's gonna be someone else. It's like, fuck. Damn.
Yeah. And we know, I mean, it's so hard because, like, now I sympathize for him so much.
Because of things that happen in a later chapter.
I know. See, you're like, I can't get this girl on the podcast. She just wants to spoil everything.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
But I do. And even, like, talking about it now, I'm just like, ugh. This poor guy.
So they, they have sex, and it doesn't go super well. And I was thinking it before the book even said it, and it's like, it's kind of hard to have sex when you don't want to.
Neither one of them are, like, interested in this, and they'd like it to be over.
And so, then it is, and then, shoot, I don't even remember. What happens after that, after they have sex?
Well, okay, this is what I thought was interesting, too. This is, like, very end of the chapter. Okay. So they have sex. She goes back to her room. Mm-hmm. She packs to leave, tidies up, and so she'll come home to order whatever. She takes a shower, methodically scrubbing every bit of flesh she can reach until her skin burns.
Yeah, because when she leaves his apartment, she is pissed that she smells a little like him.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
She says, I want to 100% eliminate this from my memory.
Yeah.
She doesn't want any reminder of this man.
Yeah. Even though she's going to be stuck with him for a bit.
Yeah.
And she's going to have to keep having sex with him for a bit. There were some bits in here that we skipped over because it wasn't really germane to the main plot of the chapter. But, like, we see that there is an Origine who is holding their hand, like cradling their hand. And there's a guardian watching that specific one. We see this, and this Origine is in this lovely garden where
I was gonna say I loved that.
The garden?
Yeah, I was waiting so long. I'm like, give me a little bit of
the high life.
Vibe.
Show me something nice.
I'm tired of the rubble. I'm tired of the ruin. Give me luxury.
And so we got a little bit of that.
For a page.
For a page.
Paragraph, maybe.
Yeah. So there's this lovely... In the fulcrum, there are these lovely gardens.
Yeah.
You are not permitted in them until you get your first ring.
Yes.
And so it talks about how once you get your first ring, Origines get to live this life of luxury while they're in the fulcrum. Mm-hmm. Right? When they're on assignment, they're on assignment. That shit sucks. But when they're home, home in the fulcrum, they get to just have a lovely time. They get to have a lovely time in this lovely garden. They get to listen to music. They get to flirt with all the other Origines.
Yeah. They're having a good time, and they're training too, right?
They are training too. Yeah, they want to work their way up the totem pole. Get more rings, get more privileges.
I feel like I'd be like, okay, let me just get this one ring, and I'll just vibe here in the garden for the rest of my life. I don't need to go on assignment. I'm not doing anything but staying in the garden.
Right. But yeah, is there anything else about that chapter?
No, we just get two great characters introduced.
Yeah.
And that's fun.
Yeah, it is. Okay. On to the next chapter.
Yeah.
Chapter 5. You're Not Alone. Where we are joined for a night by a strange but polite boy. So we come back to us.
Yeah.
We are Asun again. We are... This is a short chapter.
It was a short chapter. It's very interesting.
It's very interesting. So we're no longer in the town. We've been walking for a while. We have this energy built up in us that, like, is, it's a problem. And walking was not enough to get it out of us.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the only way to get the energy out is to use it, but that's dangerous, so we don't.
Right.
That's the impression I got.
But it's for our benefit on long walks, I would say, in terms of now we have some energy to keep going.
In case something like...
goes awry.
Yeah.
Not that we will use it.
Right. So, you know, we're walking and we see the bad stuff coming. Yeah. Right? Like, we can see the glow of a mountain. We can see ash coming.
Are people wearing masks?
I don't think they are yet.
Okay.
But, you know, like, so this is the bit that I think is interesting. This is where I think the science of it comes into things, right? Like, how people react to volcanoes.
Yep.
Because that's very in line, the way people in this book react. That's very in line with how people in reality have to react, you know, to volcanoes. You know, ash is a serious concern. Right. Ash is going to fuck everything up. Ash is going to fuck up your lungs.
Yeah, it is.
Which is why I think the ash blow hair thing is kind of...
That's a really interesting point. And the way that it's, like, styled, right? Like, that's very interesting.
Yeah, but, so eventually, we get tired. And we have to sleep. We don't want to sleep, but we have to sleep.
But we don't want to start a fire.
We don't want to start a fire because we don't want people to know where we are. We don't want to attract attention, yeah. And so we're sleeping. And then So this is something we forgot to mention in the last chapter. Orogenes have this ability to cess, right? So cess is like a sixth sense, basically. So like any vibration in the earth, we can sense, which I think is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Right? And so we sense this if I recall correctly, this child is interesting because we don't sense their footsteps. We hear them walking towards us, and that's what freaks us out. And we wake up, and we're like, what the fuck? Who are you?
It's just a baby.
He's just a nice boy.
Another baby.
He's just a nice boy.
Covered in dirt, right?
He's dirty. He is so dirty.
He's filthy.
Is he wearing clothes?
No, he's naked.
He is a naked, dirty, dirty boy. But he's nice. He's like, hello.
Yeah, and he's sweet, and his name is Hoa.
Hoa. It's pronounced
Hoa.
Hoa. And he's just like, I'm Hoa. What's your name? And she's like...
And I love Hoa immediately.
Yeah.
I know. I really did, though. It's just...
No, why?
Well, because he was, like, said who he was going to approach. He, like, decided to approach her.
That's why I like him, too.
And...
Because he says something like, I saw other people on the road, but I didn't like them. I like you.
And I don't know why that makes me trust him immediately. I'm like, okay.
Just lovely.
And he, like, cuddles up, doesn't he? Or did I just, like, put that in my brain? I wanted them to be, like, a little cuddle.
I think you put that in your brain. Because because we're not thrilled that he wants to, like, latch on to us.
He sleeps next to her.
To us.
To us, sorry.
We give him a bedroll. And he, like, puzzles over it for a moment. And then he figures out what it is. And he gets all excited. He unrolls it. And then he sleeps on top of it.
So cute. He said, I was just like, this is a little cutie baby. So,
honestly, the thing I found the most interesting thing about this chapter was the quote at the end of the chapter.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to read it out.
Yep.
They are an arcane thing, you understand, an alchemical thing. Like orogeny, if orogeny could manipulate the infinitesimal structure of matter itself rather than mountains. Obviously, they possess some sort of kinship with humanity, which they choose to acknowledge in the statue-like shape we most often see. But it follows that they can take other shapes. We would never know. So they're talking about stone eaters here.
Again.
And it's like, that is a good point. Like, fuck, a stone eater could probably, like, appear as a hill and you wouldn't know.
How would you? I mean...
Or maybe take the shape of a tree in a forest, but far away from you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because, like, you can't call this, can you call this, like, the magic system, or,
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's, like, this is so unique, like, nothing I've ever read before.
It's pretty bare bones so far, but there is a magic system there.
That's being built, and, like, it's just very unique to anything I've ever read. I'm learning I should broaden my scope of fantasy more, I think, too, because I was like, this is fascinating.
Well, that's what you're doing now.
Exactly.
Every episode, we get a little more functionally literate.
Well, we're gonna try. No.
But yeah, so we've got this kid, and we're telling ourselves, just tonight. We can be human for tonight. It's fine. And then next morning, the ash begins to fall.
Not good.
That's the end of the chapter. So, that's a pretty short episode.
Yeah.
But it's because this
Oh, wait, that's the end of the episode.
This is the end of the episode because this chapter is so short.
I know, this is a baby chapter.
It's a baby chapter.
And a lot of this is like, we're getting to know another character, too, you know, and you're kind of figuring out what they're about. Mm-hmm. So we're still setting the stage. We're figuring out all the players here, which you think is all one player.
I think
us.
I think it might be.
I think that's an awesome theory.
There's no reference to the end of the world with Syenite.
Yeah.
There's no reference to the end of the world with Demaya. The only point of view where the end of the world is happening is with I forgot what our name is. What is our name? Asun. Yeah.
Asun.
And
we say you so much, we never.
And so with Asun, like, we know that she has, recreated her life before.
Yeah.
Because she's contemplating how to do it now.
Well, and if she obviously has some control over her abilities.
She has control over her powers, yeah. She has a conscience that sounds like a male voice. Whose voice is that? I
know. That, too, made me wonder. I mean, at one point I was like, maybe she's trans, or...
Maybe.
But if these are her children, like, I don't know.
Right.
I think...
Yeah, no, maybe not trans, then. She did give birth to children. And she's presenting herself.
True.
She's presenting herself as a woman. So.
But to me, I'm still like, I feel like gender is like playing into some aspects of this potentially.
How so?
Well, with the male voice in particular, maybe. Mm-hmm. Is that her? Do you think?
I'm wondering if I'm correct.
Okay.
If that is Shafa's voice in her head as her conscience.
Oh, okay.
Because he's her guardian.
Yeah.
If I'm right, which I don't know if I am, but like,
it's a good theory. I support it.
Cool.
I think you totally could be right.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's the end of the episode. And once again, I have forgotten to put the credits at the beginning. So I'm gonna wait. Did I?
No.
Thank you, Julia, for being my co-host today.
Thank you for letting me talk.
You're welcome.
Into a microphone.
Huge
mistake.
Thank you to Digistory Productions for providing us our audio recordist, Chris. Chris is doing a great job. He gets better every time. Thank you to VidWest Studios for providing us a space to record and the majority of our equipment. Thank you to Jake Weller for our theme music. If you like our theme music, be sure to listen to Jake's album, Wasting Time. I have a link in the episode description. And thank you all for listening. I've really wanted to cover, one of N.K. Jemison's books for a while now, because she's a black fantasy writer who is a woman, and that's not common.
Yeah.
I've not encountered many of that, and I really like what she's doing with it. Mm-hmm. I really like what we've read so far. And, you know, I've got good feelings about it, you know, especially since it's a Hugo Award-winning book.
Yeah. It's been a great journey so far. I'm excited to keep going.
Yeah. Let's see you guys. So we'll see you guys next time.
Yay.
Bye.